So we identified a plot of these acacia trees that looked promising because it had a lot of trees that had this infestation and a lot of trees that didn't. So the first thing we did was label all these trees, and we had around 115 trees to label. Then we created a map of these trees using triangulation. So we measure the distance to a new tree in terms of two other trees, and that way we're able to build up a map of all of these trees within our plot. Then we collected a variety of data about each tree: the tree height, the tree circumference, the number of major branches, and that way we're able to get a sense of the composition of the trees within this area.
Okay, while we were in the field, we encountered many difficulties in the data collection process. So we figured out that as a computer scientist, we can do something to help this process. So our idea is to develop an iPad application that permits researchers to collect spatial data on the field. So with this application, with the help of GPS and accelerometer and all kind of possible technology that applies, permits an easier process of collecting data in the field with less error, less burden, and so on.
So one thing that I helped out this project is to map out the trees in the field and help them locate the trees to kind of pipeline where to go next. That kind of helped them kind of pipeline the process a little bit, so that they can do experiments in kind of a cluster of trees instead of going back and forth between trees. So that's, I think, one help. And another thing that is, I think, helpful here is once we have the map data, we can also use the spatial information to do further analysis if necessary.
Correcting the GPS coordinates of the area that we mapped, and these coordinates helped us in mapping the trees on the computers, so that we can really locate the trees very well once we go back to the field. Then the other activity, we had to measure the tree height and the tree distance. The distance from one tree to the other. That was to help us to calculate the distance to get the area, the circumference of that specific area, and then we will be able to compute all the trees which are in that location.